In terms of foreign policy right now, there's increasing concern that Vladimir Putin is not actually bombing ISIS. I mean, do you have any concerns right now that he may not be living up to what he told the United States originally?
He's going to want to bomb ISIS because he doesn't want ISIS going into Russia. And so he's going to want to bomb ISIS. I mean, Vladimir Putin is going to want to really go after ISIS. And if he doesn't, it'll be a big shock to everybody. At the same time, he's an Assad person. And so if the United States doesn't like Assad, which they don't, and they're backing people, they don't even know who they are. I mean, we have President Obama's backing people. They call them the rebels. They don't even know who these people are. They could be ISIS. So you wonder, Assad's bad, maybe these people are worse. But, the whole concept of backing people who they have absolutely no idea who they are, that is something that bothers me very much. But Putin is going to end up going after ISIS because he doesn't want them going into Russia.
And you've talked a lot about Syria, and you talked a lot about your opposition to the war in Iraq in the beginning, and your concerns about the United States jumping in. A lot of these interventions have been motivated by the desire to spread democracy, to promote human rights. Is that an appropriate objective of foreign policy?
We're nation building. We can't do it. We have to build our own nation. We're nation building. We're trying to tell people that have had dictators and worse for centuries how to run their countries. We have to build our own country. We have to rebuild the United States. And look what's happened in Iraq. We got rid of Saddam Hussein. I don't think that was a very helpful thing. Iraq is a disaster right now, and it's going to be taken over by Iran and ISIS.
So that foreign policy intervention should be dictated strictly by national interest rather than any other considerations?
Certainly you can say humane if there's a problem going on in the world and if you can solve the problem.
Would something like what President Clinton did in Kosovo be appropriate and fit under that?
Okay, sure. There are certain cases you see things going, atrocities going on that are horrible. ISIS is one of them. This is why we're there. I mean, ISIS was so brutal and so horrible. That's why we're looking at ISIS, and a lot of people would agree with that, including me. But there is a humane reason, and there's also a reason that we have to build our own country, and that's what we have to focus on.
Senator Bernie Sanders said on Meet the Press, he asked if he's a capitalist. He said, no, I'm a democratic socialist. What do you think, as someone who's almost certainly a capitalist, what the role of the government should be in regulating the economy?
Well, I am a capitalist, and I've created tremendous numbers of jobs and lots of education for families and health care for families and other things. And Bernie Sanders is a socialist, and he's trying to soften it by saying he's a Democrat and a socialist, but he's really a socialist. He's always said socialist before. Now he's changing it. He wants to go a little bit more mainstream. But that is a short road to failure for this country. That's why I don't think he can be elected, because when you have somebody who's an admitted socialist, and some people think he's even worse than that, he's the next step. But if you're a socialist running for office in this country, I don't see it happening.
There's been a lot of debate about mandatory body cameras for police. Do you think that would be an important step to make sure that, helpful to make sure all police are wearing body cameras?
Well, I think different police departments feel different ways, and I have great respect for the police. I think they're not treated fairly, not treated properly. You're always going to have a bad apple, and you're going to see that on the news every once in a while, but the truth is, the police in this country do a phenomenal job.
Mm-hmm. And do you think there's a role for the federal government to provide funding for those departments who want body cameras?
Well, there could be. I mean, that's something that's up to them. Some of these departments have plenty of money and some of them don't. And if they like the idea of the cameras and they need federal funding, if they need federal funding. Look, it can solve a lot of problems for the police. It can also solve a lot of problems, period, where they're accused of things, because they're accused of things, and oftentimes you see the body camera, all of a sudden they didn't do anything wrong. So I almost think that it's a positive thing for the police, but it really would depend on the department itself.
Flashback come anytime, So must you make you crazy. I'm so much pain. I don't understand anything. I have headache, you want to vomit.